A normal afternoon turns into a nightmare when a young boy is watching cartoons and the TV suddenly cuts to an emergency broadcast. The report warns that a deadly virus is spreading across the world. Anyone infected transforms into a violent zombie within minutes. The news anchor explains that entire cities have already fallen and urges everyone listening to find shelter immediately. Fear spreads faster than the broadcast itself. As the boy watches in shock, strange noises come from upstairs. Nervously, he investigates, only to discover that his older sister, Abigail, was trying to scare him. The siblings soon find their mother speaking with their father through a video call. Their father, a pilot, is stranded and unable to return home. He tells them to find a safe place and survive until he can reach them. Before ending the call, he proudly shows the lucky bracelet on his wrist, a bracelet Abigail made for him. The simple gesture gives her hope in the middle of the chaos. Moments later, screams erupt outside. Their mother quickly gathers supplies and rushes both children toward the family car, but before they can escape, a zombie suddenly attacks her. Everything happens in seconds. Abigail hides beneath the car as she watches the horrifying attack unfold. Her mother and younger brother are both killed right before her eyes. As Abigail struggles to stay silent, something even worse happens. Her mother's body begins moving again. The virus has already transformed her into a zombie. Just as the infected mother discovers Abigail hiding under the car, a stranger named Jack appears. He shoots the zombie and pulls the terrified girl to safety. Then he notices Abigail's younger brother beginning to turn as well. Jack gently tells Abigail to cover her eyes and ears before ending the boy's suffering. With nowhere else to go, Abigail leaves with the man who just saved her life.
10 years pass. The zombie virus has destroyed civilization. Cities have become ruins, and most of humanity is either dead or infected. Abigail is now a young woman. Since the day he rescued her, Jack has raised her as his own daughter. He taught her how to fight, survive, and hunt zombies in a world where every mistake can be fatal. Abigail sees Jack as the father she lost. But after spending years isolated in the wilderness, she dreams of finding other survivors and living among people again. Jack disagrees. In his experience, humans can be even more dangerous than zombies. One night, while camping in the forest, Jack hears a branch snap nearby. He immediately grabs his rifle and investigates. A zombie suddenly attacks from the darkness. Jack reacts instantly and kills it. The gunshots alert Abigail, and together they realize one zombie rarely travels alone. At dawn, they leave the area on horseback. During their journey, their horses become nervous, signaling danger nearby. Looking ahead, they spot a jeep surrounded by zombies. A lone survivor is desperately trying to stay alive. Since survivors are rare, Jack decides they must help. He also sees this as a test for Abigail's training. He orders her to stay calm and take the shot. Abigail fires too quickly. Her bullet hits a zombie but also strikes the survivor. Jack is furious. When they reach the man, it's clear he won't survive. To prevent him from turning, Jack mercifully puts him down. While searching the man's belongings, armed survivors suddenly surround them. The group assumes Jack and Abigail killed their friend for supplies. Weapons are raised. A deadly confrontation seems unavoidable until a pregnant woman named Megan steps forward and convinces her group to hear them out. Jack explains what happened and warns everyone that the zombies nearby are likely part of a larger group. Almost immediately, his warning proves correct. His horse becomes restless and distant noises echo through the forest. Thousands of zombies emerge from the trees and charge toward them. The survivors fight desperately, but the numbers are overwhelming. One by one, members of the group are bitten and killed. Even heavily armed fighters can't stop the massive horde. Eventually, only 4 people remain alive: Jack, Abigail, Megan, and Megan's husband, David. They flee in a vehicle while the remaining zombies swarm the battlefield behind them. During the journey, Megan explains that they were traveling toward a place called Shiptown, a rumored survivor colony with food, shelter, and safety. Abigail is thrilled. Finding a community has always been her dream, but Jack remains skeptical. After 10 years of wandering, he has never seen proof that such a place exists. Their vehicle soon breaks down. David, a mechanic, tries to repair it, but without proper tools, there's nothing he can do. Weary, forced to continue on foot, the group eventually reaches an abandoned residential complex and decides to spend the night there. Around a campfire, Megan tells Abigail more about Shiptown. She claims they've already communicated with its residents by radio. Abigail becomes more determined than ever to reach it. Meanwhile, Jack sets traps around the area before explaining his plan. He intends to escort Megan and David part of the way, then separate from them. Abigail strongly disagrees. She believes they should stay together and help the couple reach safety. Unknown to all of them, a black-faced zombie has already tracked their scent and is leading a horde directly toward them.
The next morning, Abigail hears movement below and realizes zombies have entered the area. As she rushes to warn the others, a zombie chases her through the building. She narrowly escapes falling to her death when Jack arrives just in time to save her. Outside, Jack's traps detonate, destroying many zombies, but the horde is too close now, forcing the group to flee. During their escape, Abigail remembers an old airport where her father once worked. She suggests finding a plane and flying directly to Shiptown. Jack believes the plan is extremely risky, but Abigail's determination convinces him. At the airport, they initially find nothing. The runways are empty and the place appears abandoned. Then, they discover a small aircraft hidden inside an old hangar. David examines it and believes he can get it running. While David works on the engine, Jack spots hundreds of zombies approaching in the distance. Time runs out. Abigail jumps into the pilot's seat, relying on childhood memories from watching her father work. Jack fights off the advancing zombies while Abigail starts the engine. The infected reach the plane just as it begins moving. Against all odds, the aircraft takes off. Their relief is short-lived. The neglected engine fails moments later, filling the sky with smoke. The plane crashes into a forest. Miraculously, everyone survives, though the aircraft is destroyed. With no other option, the group continues on foot and eventually reaches an abandoned railway station. That night, Megan thanks Jack for saving them. In return, Jack reveals the tragedy that shaped him. When the outbreak began, his own wife became infected and he was forced to kill her himself. The experience hardened him, but protecting Abigail gave his life purpose once again.
Elsewhere, David hides a terrible secret. During the earlier battle, he was bitten by a zombie. Knowing his fate is sealed, he decides to keep moving until Megan reaches safety. The next day, Jack notices David struggling and discovers the bite wound. He confronts him immediately. David promises he won't endanger anyone. He only wants to make sure Megan reaches Shiptown before he dies. Seeing the sincerity in David's eyes, Jack gives him a chance. Later, the group discovers an isolated house deep in the woods. A spotlight suddenly blinds them, and a voice orders them to drop their weapons. The owner turns out to be a scientist who invites them inside. He offers food and shelter, something they haven't enjoyed in years. But during dinner, the scientist reveals disturbing beliefs. He claims the virus is not a disaster, but an evolution that will replace humanity. Soon afterward, David's condition worsens. When he returns from the bathroom, he finds the others unconscious. The scientist drugged their drinks. David attacks him, but the scientist activates a device that controls infected minds and incapacitates him. When the group wakes up, they're tied inside a laboratory. The scientist reveals his greatest experiment, his own zombie wife, trapped inside a cage. He releases her and uses his control device to command her. The creature attacks the prisoners. At that moment, David's infection gives him enough strength to break free. He tears apart his restraints and helps everyone escape. The survivors steal the scientist's vehicle and flee. Furious, the scientist uses his device to send an army of zombies after them.
Eventually, the road ends and the survivors continue on foot. Knowing he is running out of time, David makes a final sacrifice. He sends Megan ahead and stays behind to fight the pursuing zombies alone. His bravery buys the others enough time to escape, but it costs him his life. Jack, Abigail, and Megan finally reach Shiptown. Guards protect them from the pursuing horde and bring them safely inside. The settlement is built from connected ships. Abigail immediately loves it. For the first time in years, she's surrounded by people. Jack remains uncomfortable. He warns that large communities attract danger, leading to a bitter argument between Jack and Abigail. Soon afterward, Megan gives birth to a baby girl. Tragically, complications leave her dying, and she entrusts her child to Jack. Days later, the Abigail discovers a hidden control room containing explosives placed beneath the settlement as a last resort defense system. At that exact moment, the scientist launches an attack. Using his control device and the Zombie King, he unleashes a massive assault on Shiptown. Zombies pour into the settlement, killing residents. Jack fights through the chaos to find Abigail. He finally reaches her and confronts the scientist. During the struggle, Jack destroys the control device. Without its protection, the scientist is immediately torn apart by the zombies he once controlled. Survivors retreat through underground tunnels while preparations are made to destroy the settlement. During the escape, the Zombie King captures Abigail. As Jack attacks the creature, Abigail notices a familiar bracelet on its wrist. The bracelet she gave her father years ago. She realizes the Zombie King is actually her father. Jack pulls her away as the settlement explodes behind them. Yet even after the blast, the Zombie King survives. The monster attacks Jack, overpowering him. Abigail faces an impossible choice. The creature before her is her biological father, but the man risking his life to protect her is the father who raised her for the last 10 years. Refusing to let Jack die, Abigail picks up a gun and shoots the Zombie King. Choosing the man who stood with her over the memory of the past, she ends the threat once and for all. And that's where the story ends.